I've been through every single technology, event and evolution, and this blows them all away. This is where kids getting hired coming out of college are really going to have a unique opportunity. When I'm telling my kids who are 15, 18, 21 or 19, 21, and kids going to school, what should I do? What should I do? I'd be like,
AI research.
Learn all you can about AI, but learn more on how to implement them in companies.
That is what made me decide to pick this thing up and teach myself. So I'm a real estate student, finance and real estate. I figured might as well teach myself as something that I might use in my job one day. And if I get really good at this, maybe start my own thing. So I basically just started asking questions to ChatGPT. What are the biggest pain points for landlords? And I literally pasted in the tweet and I was like, using this concept, what are some ways we can automate workflows? So for our vision and small to medium businesses, we were looking at landlords that hypothetically have 10 to 30 doors that they're working on or operating with. They don't need an insane enterprise level software. They just need some automated workflows, whether that's with Google Sheets, Excel, Airtable, something simple, but something that's effective. If you look at these 4 big pain points right here, this is what we are going to be looking to build out. One was vacancy and leasing. And this is a way where if you have a Google Sheet or a Google form that you have people fill out and they want a tour, it can quickly eliminate people that have no shot of getting an application accepted. And then it automatically invites them to tour if they're qualified. This next one is the one that I think could be really useful, is a maintenance auto intake form. If you don't have everything organized, it can get hectic really quick with having a bunch of tenants texting you or emailing you that something's broken. This is a way where if you just submit a form, it will automatically communicate to the right vendor that you have what problem needs fixed and how urgent it is. This next one is just basic tenant communication. It's a great way to get ahead of problems before they even come up. Again, this was the baseline, very first rough idea of what we were going to build. This thing kind of evolved into a totally different beast. But these were the 4 core ideas we originally had. But this number 4 kind of turned into something different that we will get into later. The first build was a tenant pre-screening tool that you could use, whether it was a Tally form, a Google form, any type of form. If you had somebody that liked your property and they wanted a chance to get a tour, they would fill this out as kind of a pre-screener to an official rental application. So what we have here is a submission. Whenever somebody submits a form, it automatically goes into this Tally submission right here. It creates a spreadsheet row onto this beautiful spreadsheet we have right here. And this was the draft 1. Based on its responses, you got an income question, a proof of income question, eviction history, if you have pets, and then it gives you a risk score using this fancy Excel formula. And it would either approve you, ask for more information, or deny you. So based on that, it would either go to path A for approval, it would send an approval email to this person, it would pull their email from the Tally form and automatically invite them to schedule with a calendar link. The middle one would be requesting for more information, where we could see this tenant living here, but at the same time, there are some risk factors. And then if their score was just too bad, meaning that they had a very low income to rent ratio, a bad credit score, eviction history, it would just automatically reject them so that we don't end up wasting our time giving a tour to somebody, where when we give them an official rental application, they're not going to be accepted. The next was the auto maintenance request form. So again, you take your Google form, whatever form you want to use, it sends a prompt to ChatGPT. One of the submission questions is just you describing what happened, what's wrong, whether it's a leaky faucet or your entire apartment is on fire. It will send it to ChatGPT. It has this kind of base format of how it should analyze and determine how serious the issue is. It would create a spreadsheet row, and then it would give you an AI summary of what was actually happening. Now, if it was a low priority, it would take the category, run a VLOOKUP function, and say you had a vendor on staff, it would automatically take you to their contact info. I used a placeholder email just to test if it worked, and it does work. But whether you have individual vendors for whatever maintenance request comes up, or you just have one do-it-all guy, it would automatically contact them if it was a low priority issue. It would send an email to the landlord, because you can imagine that if there's a really big issue, you would want the owner to know right away so that they can take action. So the paths here, there's a lookup for type of vendor you need or the person that's going to be in charge of fixing a low priority issue. It would send them an email, and then it would send the tenant an email just to let them know that they got it, and then it would update that spreadsheet row. And then if it was a high priority one, it would just send the email to the landlord straight up and then update the spreadsheet row. Getting into our third, this one I thought was going to be simple. It ended up being the most confusing one just because of all the features we added. It's basically just a tenant registry as the base spreadsheet, and it takes their tenant ID, their name, their email, their phone number, the unit number, the amount they pay, what day of the month rent is due, which for this I put it on the 1st for everybody because that's pretty standard. The lease start date, the lease end date. So it has a rent reminder that can go off either prior to or after. It can be customizable, just to let them know that they're either late or just to remind them that they have payment coming up. The next feature we added was in the case of a renewal, starting from 60 days, 30 days, and then going down to 14 days. This workflow finds out when the lease end date is, and if they're within 60, 30, or 14 days, it will send them an automatic email saying, hey, do you want to renew? Because if not, we got to find somebody else. So that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, where it's kind of a way to get ahead of an issue that may occur if you're not communicating effectively with your tenants, and it saves you a lot of headaches that you don't have to reach out for manually. So all of these kind of work the same way. For the 60-day, it takes all of these rows of the spreadsheet, finds out if their end date is within 60 or on 60 days from now. It will only go if it was exactly 60 days. AI will create an email prompt, pulling from each person if it triggers. It will send them the email and then update the spreadsheet row with the date of the last reminder you sent them. And that will happen 60 days, 30 days, and 14 days before their lease is up. Now, I made all these things basically just a skeleton of how you could actually build it up if you had a business yourself. Say one day I was to actually build something like this out for somebody, they could use Airtable, they could use Google Sheets, they could use Google Forms, they could use Tally. There's so many ways to customize it. This platform has I forget it was 700 or 7,000, but point being, it has a million different ways you can customize what apps you embed into your workflows. So I just wanted kind of a baseline skeleton of what it could look like. And then if I were to build it for somebody, we would start with this and then just expand upon it. I started out building all three of these things separately, and I kept going back to that fourth thing. What was the fourth thing we wanted to do to add value? And at first it was going to be financial visibility, but as I kind of evolved with my understanding of this, I wanted to create something that kind of encompassed all three of the problems we tried to solve. So that's when I came up with the master spreadsheet. Now, I'm no Excel wizard, but Claude is, so it helps create a template for me. I kind of took this template and customized it so that it could fit every workflow that I built. So every single workflow that I made operates within this spreadsheet now. So this is the dashboard. This left side is all the rental applicants. I did some test runs so that I could get all three, one that says more info, one that says deny, or two that say deny, and one that says approve. These scores are pulling from the leasing applicants tab, and on here is where when you fill out a form, this is where everything actually populates. The next column right here is the maintenance requests. I wanted to stress test it, so I had multiple low and high priorities, and those are all pulling from this thing. So these are all the inputs that when somebody fills out the sheet that they would give. Once these things are filled out, like the workflow showed, it categorizes it low or high and then gives you an AI summary. In the future, you could add a step to this workflow for when a job is complete to have it actually close, but for now, I'm just leaving all of them open. But all of these things populate to right here, just so, again, there's a little high-level overview dashboard of everything. So this was kind of my fourth point of value. I had all three things that were separate, and this fourth thing kind of put it all together into one master spreadsheet. And the one thing that I think is pretty cool is this part up here. These just count how many open maintenance requests there are. The tenant registry page, it works the exact same as it did prior to when I showed you. It's actually funny, today would be 60 days until this one expires, and sure enough, I have it go off at 9 o'clock every morning. It is past 9 o'clock and it works, so that's kind of cool. Now this bad boy here, high risk tenants, this is kind of what I was getting at, to finding that fourth thing to kind of bring this whole thing together and really bring value. I'm not done with it yet, but this is what I'm working on right now. I haven't figured out these cell references yet. I gotta actually fix the formulas because I used to do in the registry, whenever there was a reminder sent, it would just say sent, but I feel like it's better to have an actual date there. So I gotta make these formulas work, but the idea behind it is when, this is the scoring key over here, so whenever there's a reminder sent, you get 20 points, and if it's overdue, you get 40 points. So basically, the more points you get, the higher risk you are. But the question I'm trying to answer now, when these reminders are sent, especially for the rent reminders, I got to get those things to reset so they don't just stay stuck on sent or have a date there, even if they've already paid. So that's kind of the things I'm working on right now to get better at understanding this stuff. But the thing I think is really cool about all this is that it's so transferable to any industry, whether it's for your e-commerce clothing brand that have issues with customer support or returns or refunds, gyms or personal trainers trying to book private lessons and coordinating their calendars, or even colleges with donor outreach. Like, there's just so many random ways that this could make things more efficient. So I decided to work on it and learn for landlords. If there are any landlords out there that want me to help you, shoot me a message. But overall, I'm kind of just excited to learn more about this for any type of business. People have been always saying, if you don't learn it, you'll fall behind and all that stuff. And I figured, hey, if I'm taking 12 credits my last semester of college, I might as well spend my extra free time trying to learn a valuable skill that would help me either earlier in my career or developing a business one day. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And as I continue to learn random stuff, I will be sharing them. I hope you enjoy.